Okay, let's talk about how dreams predict the future. Okay, where am I looking? I'm a little spooked by this one, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna use a little bit of discretion because it's obviously very fresh. And I don't like to speak on uh, things when I don't know like the full entirety of it. Okay, I don't know the full entirety of it. And I think that everything happening today is a very weird circumstance. Honestly, it's a very weird circumstance. Okay. Ooh, how much of this do I want to talk about? Okay. So, all my girlies, excuse me, all my girlies and guys that are mediums, okay? You have the ability to talk to spirits, see spirits, and things like that, okay? Let's get it out of the way. All the spirits that you see are not, necessarily spirits of people that have passed away. You can see multiple different type of spirits, okay? Where am I looking at? Okay. Multiple different type of spirits. So in 2025, I began to see this spirit, okay? I'm going to call this spirit Jake. So I'm going to call him Jake. I think that he does go by another name. He goes by another name, but I'm going to call him Jake just to make it easy. Okay, Jake. Like Jacob, but Jake. He usually presents himself as a small white child with blue eyes, blonde hair, blue eyes, okay? And so there was a situation where I was watching this video, and there's a guy, and he was talking about Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. And I was like, oh, it's interesting because there's a person, what do I want to call him? We're going to call him something really generic like Tim. Tim said that he is Tim. That's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother story. Okay. It's a whole nother story. I can't even get into that right now. I can't get into it right now, okay? I can't even get into it right now. Anyways, Tim. Okay. Let me get to the point. Where am I looking at? Let me get to the point. So I was like, oh, Tim said that he was a reincarnation of the sleeping prophet. That's very interesting. So anyways, not too long after, I just had this thought, right? Because sometimes you have thoughts and you're like, that's interesting. And so like in my mind, I'm like, I wonder when Tim is going to come around again, because Tim is in the air. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't know Tim personally, but I know me, and I know energy dynamics and things like that, right? Certain things that you pick up on, you focus on, and then it comes around in some type of way. That's why a lot of the time when I'm unsure about what's going on with something, I just sit on it and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And I have the life, most of the people around me have the type of life where it's usually not the most obvious reason. Like when you're like, how crazy could it be? Don't even ask how crazy it could be, because it could get crazier. Like, it's not going to be the answer you think that it is. It's always something wild.com. Okay, I'm focusing. So on June 8th last year, and I know this because I write down my dreams religiously. Okay, religiously, I write them down. It's very rare for me to go a day without at least remembering most dreams. Like, it's possible that I forget some of them, like just while I'm in the astrals, but I write down a lot of experiences, and I dream most days. If I am having like a stint of like barely remembering dreams, which I am going through that right now, and so this is very weird that this is happening in the midst of this kind of time period where my dreams for April, like the last week and a half, have been very shoddy. Like I just, I just, it's not like I've been having them, but it's just been like, where my dreams at, you know what I'm saying? And what usually happens is that there's some type of thing that is happening that's like building up, and it's like in the astrals it's literally building up. And so I'm like, okay, something is up, something is going on. So I have this dream. I'm in the car with this little boy Jake, this little white boy Jake, and he's crying, he's upset, and I'm like, what's going on? So I look to the side and I see Tim. Okay, I see Tim, and I'm like, Tim, are you making, I don't know Tim, but you know what I'm saying, when I meet people, I don't treat them like strangers, I treat them like friends. There's benefits to that, and there's also a lot of downsides, right? But I try to treat every person that I meet like friends, like family. So I'm like, Tim, why is he crying? Like, what's wrong? Tim is trying to convince him that that this little boy should unalive him, because he wants to go through a specific type of transformation, and he can't do this transformation without this little boy unaliving him. And he was very specific on how he wanted this little boy to unalive him, okay? And so I'm like, what? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? This is a grown man. Tim is a grown man talking to this little bitty child. Now, he is a child, but he's also not a child. That's a whole... But I was seeing him as a child. He's a child, but he is not a child, okay? So I'm like, why are you telling him this crazy stuff, Tim? Like, what are you talking about? Like, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. Like, no. I'm like, why are you so focused on transforming in like this super destructive way that's also going to leave like horrible impact on this child? Like, what are you talking about right now? I'm like I'm just like, almost like, is something wrong with Tim? Like, something is wrong with Tim, because what the freak? I know, I almost cursed, but I caught myself. Because I'm like, why are you telling this child this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so anyway, so he is in the car and he's really trying to convince him. And then all of a sudden the SWAT team comes out. At this point, I'm like, because Tim is not known for this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Tim is not known for... At least not publicly, right? Because I don't know Tim personally. And I'm just reiterating that because there are a lot of people that we see like in the public, and we assume like what their, life is. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know him personally. I don't know. But anyways, I'm like, Tim, absolutely not. So the SWAT team, I'm like, Tim, like, what is going on, Tim? Like, what in the world, Tim, what is actually going on with you? Okay, I've got like a minute left. Okay, so anyways, the SWAT team comes up or whatever, and I'm not sure who unalives Tim. I'll have to go back in my notes and I'll probably post it as a comment, because like in this moment I can't remember, but I just read about it. And so I'm like, what in the world is going on? But I'm getting the boy to safety. The boy is crying. He's not necessarily hysterical, but he's like in deep thought. I'm like, you're not considering this. Like, that's not on you to help him unalive himself to transform. He's got to figure out a different way to transform. Absolutely not. And so anyway, so I get the boy to safety, this little boy to safety, and I wake up and I'm like, what in the world? Now, why am I bringing this up today? Because recently Tim passed away in a way that's very similar to my dream. And what I'm thinking about is that how the future in certain ways is already written. Some people are literally walking right into their destiny, right into their fate. And I find that to be very interesting with just reality in and of itself, because who knows what Tim was experiencing, but from my experience of him, I didn't know that it was a prediction, but it was a prophecy that he fulfilled today. It's a strange world.